Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the launch of the CARICOM Energy Knowledge Hub. To Dr. Devin Gardner, Program Manager for the Carcom Secretariat Energy Unit, Dr. Gary Jackson, Executive Director for the Caribbean Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, CCREEE, Mr. Simon Zellner, Program Manager for the Climate Resilient and Sustainable Energy Supply in the Caribbean, CLIRES project. We have a number of permanent secretaries with us. Mrs. Thelma Douglas Pinas, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Natural Resources for Suriname. Mr. Calvin Lee, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Infrastructure, Ports, Energy and Labor, St. Lucia. Mr. Lance Peters, Deputy Director, Energy Unit, Ministry of Urban Development and Energy, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Mr. Michael Faddle, Coordinator, Renewable Energy Program, Ministry of Blue and Green Economy, Agriculture and National Food Security, Dominica. Regional energy practitioners, students, colleagues, good morning. I am your host, Sherry Ann Farquharson, Knowledge Management and Capacity Development Expert for the Caribbean Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, CCREEE, which is a CARICOM institution. Please join me now in paying homage to those who have gone before and acknowledging our pride in the Caribbean community by listening to the CARICOM song.
From many distant lands, our forefathers came, some seeking adventure, some bound in chains. Through battles waged and fought, through victory and pain, by test of their courage, our freedom was gained. In homage to those gone before us, the heroes of lands in the sun, we vow to join hands and to focus on building one Caribbean. Raise your voices high, sing of your Caribbean pride. Sing it loud and strong, till our hearts beat as one. Celebrate in song as we rise to heights where we belong. Sound the victory drum for Caracom. Though great and diverse be our ethnicities, the bonds that unite us are stronger than these. We die, we pray, we love, we dance and we play. We relate to each other, in Yahweh. Today as a people united, determined and steadfast we stand. We look to a brand new horizon, the future now firmly in our hands. Raise your voices high and sing of your Caribbean pride. Sing it loud and strong, till our hearts beat as one. Celebrate in song as we rise to heights where we belong. Sound the victory drum for Caracom. Hele, hele, bravo. Hope you sing Caracom. Leve, leve, bravo. Naki you drum Caracom. Sabo, ya sabo, bravo. Hope you sing Caracom. Leve, leve, bravo. Raise your voices high.
The CEKH is a joint CARICOM and CCREEE initiative. The platform we will view today is funded through the Technical Assistance Program for Sustainable Energy in the Caribbean, TAPSEC, which is implemented by the German Corporation for International Cooperation, GIZ, and made possible through the financial support of the European Union and the German Federal Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development. Funding has also been provided by the Spanish Agency for International Development Cooperation, AECID. Marvin Brotto Sr. wrote, "A knowledge, if shared, likely grows to abundance. If kept to self, will be lost." This quote encapsulates the inspiration behind the CARICOM Energy Knowledge Hub, CEKH. The CEKH is an information and knowledge management framework developed to ensure that appropriate, reliable, and high-quality information is shared and therefore accessible within the region. The CEKH is addressing the data and information gaps currently existing in the region and enhances the efforts of regional decision makers. The hub gives access to energy statistics and information required for energy planning, decision support, and awareness building. Today, we will hear from a few of the key partners who have made this key tool in the sustainable development of the region a reality. Our first speaker to bring greetings on behalf of the TAPSEC program is Mr. Simon Zellner. Mr. Zellner is the program leader for the Climate Resilient and Sustainable Energy Supply in the Caribbean CLIRES project, which includes a financial allocation for TAPSEC, which directly funds the CEKH. Mr. Zellner.
Thank you very much, Sherry Ann. Dr. Devin Gardner, Program Manager, CARICOM Energy. Dr. Gary Jackson, Executive Director, CCREEE. Ms. Thelma Douglas Pinas, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Natural Resources, Suriname. Mr. Calvin Lee, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Infrastructure, Ports, Energy and Labor, St. Lucia. Mr. Lance Peters, Deputy Director, Energy Unit, Ministry of Urban Development and Energy, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Mr. Michael Fadell, Coordinator, Renewable Energy Program, Ministry of Blue and Green Economy, Agriculture and National Food Security, Dominica. Ladies and gentlemen, guten Morgen, good morning. I greet you all on behalf of the Deutsche Gesellschaft für internationale Zusammenarbeit, or in short, GIZ, the implementing agency for the European Union and the German Federal Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development funded Technical Assistance Program for Sustainable Energy in the Caribbean, or better known by its acronym TAPSEC. Along with our regional partners, all gathered here today, we at the TAPSEC are focused on one mission, transitioning the Caribbean to sustainable, climate resilient future by increasing and improving access to modern, affordable and sustainable energy services to the benefit of all Caribbean citizens, especially those who are most disproportionately affected by a lack of access to energy. In achieving this collective mission, we see as a pertinent mandate building public awareness on renewable energy and energy efficiency and develop the capacity of RE&E practitioners within the region. With today's launch of the CEKH, CCREEE will become officially a regional energy knowledge management hub and provide information on sustainable energy and climate resilience to the region. To this end, the TAPSEC has partnered with various organizations and stakeholders throughout the region to restructure and enhance the information pathway available to students, professionals, and all relevant renewable energy and energy efficiency practitioners. This is a critical component in our vision as we seek to enable pathways to strengthen the individual, collective, and institutional capacities to those tasked with the delivery of technical solutions for the region's energy landscape. Today, many months of dedicated hard work comes to fruition as CCREEE launches the CARICOM Energy Knowledge Hub. This initiative will ensure that energy policymakers, utility managers, project developers, citizens, and many more have access to high-quality data that will help fill technical gaps and inform key decision-making and planning as we work towards advancing the region's sustainable energy transition. The establishment of the Knowledge Hub represents the region's great potential for research and capacity development within the CEKH. With the CEKH, we put the keys of knowledge, opportunity, innovation, and transformation into the hands of CARICOM's visionary energy actors, who are on the front line of the energy transition, and the keys of understanding and awareness into the hands of the citizen who will most benefit and be most impacted by this great and necessary change. We hope that the CEKH will increase excellence, encourage and strengthen partnership and networking, and foster an appreciation for local research and information. TAPSEC is honored to partner with the CCREEE on this transformational initiative, and we thank Dr. Gary Jackson and his team for all the hard work they put in establishing the CEKH. We also thank the CARICOM Secretariat in laying the groundwork for the Knowledge Hub. A consistent stream of new information will be fed into the CEKH, and I pledge TAPSEC's continued support to ensure successful implementation and impact, and reaffirm our commitment to supporting the region's energy transition. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zellner. We definitely appreciate your partnerships throughout the region to enhance the capacities of our CARICOM citizens. And as he stated, the CARICOM Energy Knowledge Hub that will be viewed today is not the first installation. This is not the beginning. The first version of the CEKH was produced by the CARICOM Secretariat's Energy Unit. To share with us on the ideas, consultations, and strategies that have led us from there to here, we invite Dr. Devin Gardner, Program Manager for CARICOM Energy, to speak to us on the journey to the current implementation. Dr. Gardner.
Thank you, Sherry-Ann. Good morning, colleagues. Welcome to all of you. With protocols observed, Simon has already gone through the list of protocols. I will not delay you by going through the protocols anymore, but we'll say to all officials from member states, permanent secretaries, deputy permanent secretaries, chief energy officers, and other officials in ministries responsible for energy and other agencies, our regional institutions and representatives from them, especially our CCREEE colleagues with the Executive Director, Dr. Jackson, our international development partners, especially the colleagues from the GIZ, with Mr. Zellner, whom you just saw speak a while ago, and all other distinguished ladies and gentlemen attending this morning launch. Good morning, a pleasant good morning. It is a distinct pleasure for me to speak to you at this time because this has been a journey, as Sherry-Ann has pointed out. I would like to share my screen to show you a couple of slides of something that I prepared for you. I will try to stick to the time as best as possible, Sherry-Ann, so not a problem, but I hope I will be able to help to walk them through some of the details as to why we ended up where we are today. So I will share my screen with this document here. Let me go to the start too far down. Right. Are you seeing my screen? Perfect. So the bottom line is that the CEKH is really a balancing act. It's really trying to, let me just make sure it's the right thing. I think this is the wrong one. Escape. This is just, I have too many things open at the same time. Just let me find the right version. I think I had 2 minutes. So now I have to stop sharing the screen, Sherry-Ann, and then take off this one and add a new one. That's what I need to do. The new one. That's what. Just trying to make sure. Anyway, while I bring the screen up, I try to find the right way to do this thing. I will already start speaking about some of the beginnings. The fact is that much of the beginnings really were around the CARICOM Energy Program and the launch of the energy policy. The fact is that the energy policy at the time when it was launched, which is in 2012, 2012, really, that the energy policy was completed in its current form, recognized that the need for information was critical to the coordination requirements, and that information need would be something that was that should be centralized in a sense. And in that centralization, the understanding was that countries would need to have the basis through which they were, if you want to call it, developing the means and capabilities to have high-level intelligence and high levels of intelligence that were necessary to guide policy making, to guide planning, and to guide all of what was required for them to transition to sustainable energy requirements that they had set themselves, both at the national level and which we were now beginning to pursue jointly at the level of our regional policy. That was something that was very important at the time. So in that regard, there were discussions even in 2013 when the policy was approved by energy ministers around whether the energy information and the knowledge arrangements within the region were sufficiently suitable for the implementation of the CARICOM energy policy requirements, as well as the sustainable energy requirements that were associated with the CARICOM energy policy arrangements. And those included the arrangements under the CCREEE, which is the Caribbean Sustainable Energy Roadmap and Strategy, which was also approved at the same time with the CARICOM energy policy in 2013, in April 2013, April 1st, 2013 to be exact, which is what was at the time approved by ministers responsible for energy. The understanding was that there was some amount of energy knowledge arrangements in the region. We had established within the region at the time what we call the Caribbean Energy Information System, the CEIS, which was based in Jamaica. CEIS was established in the early 1980s when there was recognition that there was need for a centralized database within the Caribbean that was supporting CARICOM states in respect to them understanding their energy information and their energy statistics arrangements. Then there was then a lot of work that went into that energy information system at the time, and that energy information system that was developed at the time was one that the colleagues from Jamaica gave almost as a gift to the region. So it was really a localized arrangement that was established in Jamaica by the then Prime Minister Edward Siaga as a contribution of Jamaica to the region. And the CEIS, as it was based in the Scientific Research Council of Jamaica. The Scientific Research Council of Jamaica established the CEIS as a unit within within itself, and in so doing, the Scientific Research Council of Jamaica was required to support the region in respect to its energy statistics and information needs. So that was the first, if you want to call it, attempt at an indigenous energy information system or energy knowledge management system. It was more of an energy information system rather than a more broad-based knowledge management system. That was the first attempt at something that was indigenous within the region, that is the CEIS. The CEIS was really thought to be important because at the time the region was such that the countries, the majority of countries who had any aspects of energy developed were dependent on OLADE for their energy information, the Latin American Energy Organization. But the view was that, number one, there were at the time, I think, only 5 countries that were actually subscribed to OLADE from the OLADE energy information. And number two, the view was that the countries, even those that were subscribing to OLADE, OLADE for the energy information, the view was that the energy information that they were providing was not suitable for what we wanted in the region. It was not providing us with the kinds of information that was relevant to our circumstances and relevant to our situation. And in many instances, the information was not sufficiently granular because, of course, as we know, when we talk about Latin America and the Caribbean, because a lot is really Latin American centric, a lot of times what we do is when we rely on those Latin American arrangements, we lose a lot of the granularity. And that was one of the things that we thought, well, at the time, it was believed was an impedance to having really good arrangements for energy statistics and information management. So the countries in setting up the CEIS actually benefited at the time. The CEIS was able to provide some critical indicators and information to countries, very clear information around things like oil consumption and things like, if you want to call it, energy efficiency indicators. Some of them were developed. They did fuel surveys in countries and so on. They eventually started looking at projects where projects were being implemented, public projects especially. They started looking at things like renewable energy implementation. In fact, they even launched what was called CIPOR at the time, which was the Caribbean Integrated Platform on Renewable Energy to provide information on renewable energy. The challenge was that at the time, within the context of the CIS, it wasn't sufficiently broad-based. So it wasn't a knowledge management system in a true sense. It was more of an energy information system and a number of the information databases that were supporting energy stakeholders in the region. That was one of the things. It wasn't broad-based enough. Two, which was a major challenge, when the attempts to make it more broad-based started, there was some amount of resistance because there wasn't an arrangement with the CIS wherein there was an accountability situation. The CIS, as it was established, was not accountable to CARICOM. It was accountable to the Scientific Research Council, which was an agency within the Ministry of Energy in Jamaica. And so those layers of accountability for CARICOM to get into the CIS to really make changes or to influence the changes in the CIS to reflect the norms and the needs of CARICOM, especially within the context of the emerging CARICOM energy policy and the CCREEE and what the energy policy and the CCREEE requirements were. That really required quite a bit of transformation to the existing arrangements, and then to traverse those layers, to get through to the Ministry of Energy, then from the Ministry of Energy down to the SRC, then from the SRC down to the CEIS, was a little bit difficult and to do in that dispensation. And it became quite laborious, if you want to call it that, for want of a better term, to really try to overhaul the CIS to make it more reflective of the regional needs at the time. So the decision was made in 2013, 2014, 2013, 2014. In 2013, the decision was made that we need to look around and figure out whether the arrangements of the CIS could be better developed to suit our needs, or whether it was better for us to really look at developing something from scratch. So 2014, a number of studies were done, a number of meetings were held, a number of consultations were held. In fact, before I went to CARICOM in this capacity as program manager for energy, I even did a consultancy when the previous program manager was there to identify what would have been the requirements for a fully functional and efficient energy information arrangement within the region. And the conclusion that seemed to always emerge was that the CIS was not appropriate, the governance arrangements were not suitable, and there was need for us to identify something that was both accountable to the regional governance systems, which reported through an organ of CARICOM, and something that was sufficiently broad-based that involved all member states, and something that was, in a sense, responsive to the needs of member states, and also to which member states could access without impedance. Because one of the challenges with the CEIS at the time too was that access was really done through a request basis. It wasn't sufficiently interactive, and member states, it's not something that you could log into and search to find what you want. You simply made a request and hoped that the request was granted in reasonable time. It wasn't sufficiently responsive. It wasn't sufficiently real time. It wasn't sufficiently interactive. And there were times too when fees were being charged for some of the services to member states, and there were challenges with member states being able to access data that was provided because they were unable on occasion to meet those fee requirements. And that certainly was something that didn't go down too well. So we have been working since 2014 in a nutshell to try to get to the stage of what we should put up to really reflect the regional needs in terms of energy information that's necessary for us to do policy design, energy information that's necessary for us to do policy and regulatory impact assessments, energy statistics and information that's necessary for us to do energy planning in a very systematic and very scientific and data-driven way. Information, energy statistics and information that is necessary for us to make investment decisions and investment, whether it's from public monies that we get through grants to do project or private investments that are necessary for us to implement some of the projects that we are seeking to put within what I call, I do not even speak about the energy transition anymore. We really should be talking about the energy revolution, because it's more than just a transition. The transition suggests that it's a slow, laborious process. What we really want to be embarking on in the Caribbean is more of a bang, where we make a big surge and have a significant change, a significant dramatic change over a very short time. So really, with that kind of revolutionary approach to the energy change, you really need to make sure that a lot of that information is available to you readily and quickly and at the time when you need it. Otherwise, you will lose a lot of the opportunities that you require or you desire. So in moving that forward, we partnered more closely with OLADE, which is the Latin American Energy Organization, as I mentioned, to see whether we could work with OLADE to design granular aspects of their systems, their energy information systems, for the region to be able to access those basic energy information requirements that were necessary for energy planning. And we were able to do so with OLADE satisfactorily. And because we were able to do so with OLADE satisfactorily, that served us well. And because and we were able to negotiate with OLADE an arrangement where we were able to say to OLADE that, listen, we know that there are only 8 countries in CARICOM that are members of OLADE, but there are 15 member states that we have in CARICOM. And we therefore said to them, what if we were to work out an arrangement for CARICOM where we have, if you want to call it, energy information provided to CARICOM as a region and not specifically just to your member states. So in a sense, extend the services that OLADE is providing to all its members, to all CARICOM member states, including non-OLADE members of CARICOM. And OLADE agreed. And it was one of the things that formed the initial work, if you want to call it, around the Energy Knowledge Hub. Working with OLADE to start thinking about and putting together a project that would establish energy information systems in all CARICOM member states was something that became probably the first of the things that we pursued in that regard. So now you will see this is what we did with OLADE. We try to do, this is the approach we try to take with the hub. I put here what was the vision of what your could or should look like. I'm sharing that with you now for you to see that. So this is what we envisioned at the time that the CEKH should look like. That the CEKH should have national and sub-regional energy information systems. And that these energy information systems would be worked on together with OLADE. And we had started that work with OLADE. We have started that work with OLADE. That was the first set of work that we did. And we also agreed at the time that we needed an entry point or a window through which persons will access the hub. That front office or that window was the CARICOM Energy Portal, which is the website, which we redesigned completely in 2015. And you would have noticed there was a significant jump in 2015 between what existed in terms of the CARICOM Energy website and what eventually came, because we thought you needed to have a very good front window through which people could see things and then access. We started building in the back end the energy information systems then. We started working together with CARICOM shortly thereafter to talk about how it is that we could collaborate on utility benchmarking so that the CARICOM utility benchmarking becomes a part of the regional energy information and system, so that in a sense, member states, through their energy functionaries, both the ministry level and the regulators, would be able to see the benchmarks for their own country utilities as they are performing against other utilities in the region. We thought that that was very important, because as utilities benchmark to see how they are performing against each other, we thought that that benchmark information should be available also to those who are responsible for the policy and regulatory functions of energy within the countries where the utilities operate, as the utilities themselves do not operate in a vacuum. And we thought that the regulators who regulate the utilities also need to understand how those utilities are working relative to each other through real-time access to these benchmarks. So we negotiated this with CARICOM, and this is currently being built even as we speak. Then the regional energy, this is what we call the Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency Activities Database, or READ as we pronounced it. We worked very closely with, at the time, the US Department of Energy through NREL to do some surveys. We thought that, you know, given the coordination role of CARICOM within the energy space, we needed to understand what was happening in the region in terms of donor activities. We need to know what donors are doing in different countries all over the place, because people were tripping over each other sometimes doing the same things, and we weren't understanding who was doing what. And we needed to have a handle on where things were, so that and what was happening where, so that we could direct the traffic, so to speak, and do some amount of signposting if it is that donors were coming to CARICOM and asking how could we get involved in supporting sustainable energy in the region. So we thought that this was a critical part of the answer. So we set up this work with the US DOE, and we established that activities database. The database initially, as it was established, was an Excel database. So we do have this database established, but it's an Excel database. And you would have, some of you participated in survey where you would have given information, because we got the data from the donors themselves as well as from the countries and sought to do convergence. So we got the data from the donors, and we had the countries validate that data to say what was happening in the country in terms of projects, what was the project about, and how much was being spent, and what was the duration, those kind of things. And we established that. And we are now working together closely with the CCREEE under the TAPSEC program to build this out into an internet-based searchable database that can be accessed directly by persons. There are no other pieces that that of course CCREEE would have built out based particularly on some of what has been laid out here, but also based on their own intuition and their own consultations with member states, so to speak. So in a sense, what we have done since 2014 is to start building out, as I said, some aspects of it with Olade, started building the utility database, started building out the READ. And then when the TAPSEC came about in 2018, we agreed that with the CCREEE functional, because remember that in 2014, there was no CCREEE. Recall the journey of the CCREEE. Now the CCREEE first came to the table for discussion in 2014, July 2014. And it wasn't until 2017 when the agreement establishing the CCREEE was signed by governments of the Caribbean, which really made the CCREEE an institution of the region. The CCREEE really was established. The agreement to establish the CCREEE wasn't signed until 2018. The establishment was agreed to in 2017, but in 2018, it was in 2018 that the establishment of the CCREEE really took place, when the agreement was ratified by member states. And so the CCREEE has been functioning for a little under 3 years now. Well, practically, April is actually the 3-year anniversary, because this was on the 17th of April, 2018, that the CCREEE was established in a legal way. The instruments of ratification that were necessary for it to become a legally established institution happened on the 17th of April, 2018. So April gone was a 3-year milestone for the CCREEE. So in 2018, when the technical assistance program for the sustainable energy in the Caribbean started, was about to start, we agreed with the colleagues who were running the CCREEE, which is the TAPSEC, which is the GIC. We agreed with implementing partners for the TAPSEC and the donors, which is the EU and the German government, that we would put some of the funds out, we would program some of those resources to support the establishment of the CEKH further, because as I said, there was a process of establishment which had started. And we had agreed too that within the context of that establishment, we would already start to build the CEKH into the construct of the CCREEE, so that in a sense, what you would have happening is that the CCREEE will begin to take increasing ownership of the CEKH, as it is that they are intended for them to do, because it was agreed when the CCREEE agreement was being discussed and signed by member states, in the discussions leading up to the functions of the CCREEE and what the CCREEE is supposed to do, and everything related to the agreement establishing the CCREEE. There were two things that member states were very clear on. They wanted the CCREEE to support them in being able to design and implement projects. Point number one. And the second major thing that they said they wanted the CCREEE to do was to provide a basis through which they can get good quality and the right quantity of data that would and information and knowledge that would help them to be able to do whatever it is that they needed to do where energy matters were concerned, where it is that any stakeholder in any country, regardless of what their role is within the energy sector and what their understanding of the energy system is, should be able to find information or data related to the energy sector in member states and in particular and in the region as a whole that they could use towards their understanding and their work. And that it doesn't matter whether that work is just for them to become more aware of what the situation is or for them to do a project or whether it is for them to make decisions and whether it is decisions that are personal or decisions that are national. That was the understanding. So in that regard, we ensured that the CCREEE became that requirement for the CCREEE to become the hub of the CEKH that was met under the TAPSEC. And so this launch this morning is really a proof of the ownership of the CEKH by the CCREEE. So in respect to Sherian saying that one variation and another variation, I would differ a bit and say that it's really been one CEKH that has been under development since 2014. But it has been a long road and that there have been very different aspects of it that were developed at different times. And there have been a number of different partners who have supported us throughout. And I must mention some of those partners because it would be remiss of me to not identify and thank those partners who have served us well so far. In 2014, the early stages of the work were supported by the German government at the time under what was then the RITA project. What is the Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency Technical Assistance Project. So the Germans were there from the start. And we must thank them again for being here at this stage even now. Then again, we had the World Bank, who was with us at the table very early in 2015. And within the context of the World Bank did support the early work that was done by an entity that is called REAP, and another entity called Monkey Mosaic. They had a consortium that did the initial scoping. Many of you would have participated in the scoping exercise. And REAP and Monkey Mosaic had scoped what the functions and forms of the hub should and could look like, and what were the arrangements that should be built for the hub to operate seamlessly and serve the stakeholder needs. And that provided a lot of the guidance for the work that the CCREEE is doing now. And that was financed by the World Bank. In that regard, the work was done also on the energy information system. So far, we have done 5 national energy information systems that are purpose-built for CARICOM countries, and those 5 have been supported by World Bank and are being done through OLADE. So OLADE and the World Bank work closely with CARICOM to design those systems, and those systems are already being implemented in Belize, in Grenada, in Guyana, in Jamaica, and in Suriname. And then we are going to be implementing on top of that now a CARICOM wide energy information system that the TAPSEC is now supporting together with OLADE. And then we are going to build out the other national energy information systems, which we will tie into the CARICOM information system. So all the national energy information systems are going to tie into the CARICOM regional energy information system. So we have built 5 national ones already. We are now tying them into the CARICOM system to see how it works, and then we are going to do the other 10 and then tie everything back up into the CARICOM system. So over time, we'll be able to have these rolling up of national energy information into regional energy information. So
thank you so much.
I will stop here. I will stop here because at the end of the day, there is much that you will hear in terms of what will happen going forward from the CCREEE Executive Director. What I will say is that this has been a journey of many partners, a journey of many countries and many actors. And we are very proud of where we have reached so far. We have not got there as quickly as we would have hoped, but we are here nevertheless. And so I want to thank you, and I look forward to how the Energy Knowledge Hub will serve you and the rest of the community later, and hearing Gary's own views on that. So thank you very much, and do enjoy the rest of the launch and the rest of the day.
Okay, thank you so very much, Gardner, for your in-depth reflection on what has brought us to where we are today. So now let's take a look at why we're all here. We'll begin with an animation designed to introduce you to the applications on the CEKH platform.
Are you searching for current and reliable information on sustainable energy in the Caribbean? Then the CARICOM Energy Knowledge Hub was created with you in mind. A collection of knowledge products, courses, and a community of practice where you can connect with experts, the CEKH gives you access to the information essential for policy making, business and investment strategy planning, academic, and general public purposes. So whether you are a national ministry, development partner, energy company, or a citizen interested in the regional sustainable energy transition, the CEKH brings the information you need right to your fingertips. Accessing the CARICOM Energy Knowledge Hub is easy. Simply visit cekh.ccreee.org.
As you have seen from the animation, there is something in the CEKH for everyone. Energy engineers, policymakers, project developers, educators, students, and the CARICOM citizens at large. The CEKH is an integrated information repository incorporating new knowledge management technologies, tools, and methods used to capture, manage, store, preserve, and deliver high-quality content across the region. The first application is a curation of resources relevant to the regional energy sector. And these resources include regional and country-specific data, presentations, research articles, and position papers on renewable energy technologies, climate change, policy, renewable energy financing, and other topics relevant to the energy sector. You will also find linked energy statistics databases, websites for our regional partners, energy report cards, webinars, and projects. Next, we have a data repository to ensure that energy sector personnel have access to the best available information and knowledge to inform their decisions. The CEKH also includes a learning management system to enhance the capacity of practitioners within the energy space. Here you will find courses which have been hosted by the CCREEE and other partners in the region. There's also a GIS map viewer to provide visual representation of regional energy data. Today, you will find location of power plants along with solar installation and wind energy potential and other energy-related GIS maps. And to pull this all together will be your community of practice of sustainable energy practitioners. Governments, utilities, regulators, private sector, clean energy developers, universities, international development partners, civil societies, all interested parties are welcome to air their questions and find solutions to our collective problems. Sir Patrick Allen, Governor General of Jamaica, said that there is nothing that is wrong with Jamaica that cannot be fixed with what is right with Jamaica. And this is indeed true for the entire region. This community of practice will allow us to pool our collective ideas to drive the change we desire to see our ideas, expertise, and experiences come to reality. I now invite Mr. Galen Hare, Network Assistant Administrator with the CCREEE, to walk us through the platform and take a look at how to register for and navigate the applications within the CCREEE. Mr. Hare?
You the different aspects of the hub. Hi everyone, welcome to the CARICOM Energy Knowledge Hub walkthrough. Today, I'll be showing you the different aspects of the hub and what it has to offer. We are currently on the home page of the CEKH, and as you can see, it links to many different features of the hub. But before we go any further, let's go ahead and set up an account. To set up an account, simply open the menu on the left and click the register button. This will bring you to the CEKH registration page. Once you are at the registration page, fill in your relevant information into the fields you see here. First name, surname, professional email address, phone number is optional, your organization, the name of your organization, gender, designation, which is optional, your age, and your country. And click next. Then you'll receive an email similar to this one, which will ask you to activate the account by clicking the text in blue. Once you have clicked on the link, you are ready to finish activation of your account. You do this by entering a username and password for your account. CCREEE.org. And I will now enter my password. And then click next. You have now completed your account creation and simply need to log into the hub. I will now enter the same credentials which I used to create my account. info@CCREEE.org and my password. To allow groups and document platform has been set up to allow groups and teams to share documents and collaborate. Document collections will be made available to private or public groups. Now, let's go through some of the features of the documents platform. Here we can see that we can create events and we can share these events with other CEKH users. We also have a place to store our files, and these files can also be shared with other CEKH users. We also have a photos library, a place to see the activity of yourself as well as other CEKH users, and even a place to add contacts of your other CEKH members. The calendar shows all the events which you have created and that you have been invited to. And this is the documents platform. Now that we have seen the CEKH documents platform, let's navigate back to the home page and explore. Let's take a look at the discussions platform. The discussions platform is a community hub platform which is available as a part of the CEKH. This platform supports information and knowledge sharing across teams and groups and collaboration across organizations and with internal and external stakeholders. On the discussion platform, you are able to create topics which other CEKH members can view and interact with. Let's try setting up a topic now. Let's say someone wants to find large-scale renewable energy projects within the Caribbean. So they will put that as the topic name, and they will add a brief description for the topic. Some information on large-scale renewable energy projects within the Caribbean. Once this has been done, you go ahead and create the topic. As you can see, once you have created the topic, you're able to edit it, share it, bookmark it, flag the topic, and even reply to your own topic as well as other topics from other CEKH members. With this, an interconnected community can be formed in which information can be shared and even referenced at a later date. Now that we've gone through the discussion platform, let's navigate back to the CEKH homepage and explore some more components. So let's go ahead and access the map viewer. Now, the map viewer aims at improving access to data and geographic information about renewable energy services and energy systems in CARICOM member states. As you can see, the CARICOM member states are highlighted in yellow. You're able to choose different overlays from the menu on the left, which show information on these member states. So you can see renewable energy resources, infrastructures, energy demand, WMS services, and base maps. Now let's try activating one of these overlays. If we go to renewable energy resources, we can activate the global horizontal solar irradiation overlay, and it will display as such. As you can see, you can adjust the opacity of the overlay, and it also gives you a legend or key for the overlay in question. Other features of the map view are thematic maps, which automatically display all overlays related to a particular theme. So if we click solar energy, it gives a comprehensive view of the map with all solar energy related layers being visible. The map view also has an analysis tool in which you can view data for a country mapped on a graph. Let's say you wanted to view renewable energy capacity for Barbados. We click Analyze, and then we are able to see the data mapped over time for Barbados. The map view also has a search tool which can be used to find more specific information. Let's continue our exploration of the CEKH components. Now we move into the CEKH resources component. As you can see, the resources are broken down into different subcategories which act as filters for the CEKH library. If we were to say choose countries, then choose Barbados, we're able to see all the files associated with Barbados in the CEKH library. We're also able to add other filters to the search, such as adding Belize, clicking go, and now we're able to see all the files associated with Barbados and Belize for the CEKH library. We are also able to filter by other categories, such as resource types. Here you can see brochures, courses, discussions, etc., etc. Flagship projects, thematic hubs, and climate tags. Now that we've seen the resource library of the CEKH, let's go back to the home page and explore our last component. This component is the courses platform. This courses platform is a fully functional learning management system which has been deployed to support the learning needs and the course delivery across CEKH members. As seen, you are able to view your recently accessed courses, course overviews, timelines for upcoming activities, and even your own private files. There's also a calendar which allows you to better view upcoming activities and courses. With this, we have explored the components of the CEKH. I hope this walkthrough was helpful, and I also hope that you will go ahead and visit cekh.cecree.org to explore for yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Hare. We definitely appreciate that in-depth look at the different applications currently on the platform. And I'm sure you're all ready to register. But wait, there's more. I invite Dr. Gary Jackson, the Executive Director of the CCREEE, to share with us the vision for the CEKH, because what you have seen today is not the end of the journey. Dr. Jackson?
Thanks, Sharon. Good morning, all. It is indeed a pleasure to be here this morning. I'd just like to say good morning to our permanent secretaries and chief energy officers within our CARICOM member states. All protocols observed. Good morning to our distinguished guests. Good morning to our development partners, CARICOM Secretariat. Good morning to our students. Good morning to the globe. As I reflected on what was said this morning, and I listened to the song in particular of CARICOM, it had some words jumped out at me and phrases jumped out at me. Diversity was one of them. And it spoke about our forefathers and when they came here and that we became like a melting pot. So you basically had this diversity of ethnicity. But we are diverse in a lot of ways, and it's going to be important for us to accept that diversity and for our hearts to beat as one. That was a phrase that resonated with me. Feel our hearts beat as one. As you know, the heart is a very important organ of the body. You know, it pumps blood to all of the body. And when it's not pumping, you know, you're basically giving up life. And the pandemic has taught us that we need to really have that one heartbeat within our national priorities. We need to find the opportunity to connect our ecosystems. And that's what the Knowledge Hub is really trying to do. Knowledge is power, they have said, but power that we need to use for good, power that we use to use for the good of our people, to drive the transformation. Dr. Gardner referred to the revolution, the evolution, the transition. This power is going to be very important for us to inform ourselves to make the right decisions, inform ourselves to navigate. Energy as well, critical. So you notice those keywords in the Knowledge Hub, CEKH, Energy Knowledge Hub, CARICOM, and hence the importance of this. So as we navigate having this hub to become what we believe will be the best for you to make informed decisions, we want to encourage you to be owners of this hub. How are you going to do that? One of the visions we have is to establish a web-based environment where you simply add the information without much effort. We don't want you to be filling out a spreadsheet that we have been sending to you for the energy report card, your energy report cards. We want you to upload that through a mechanism. So we want that to be web-based, so it's easy for you to use. You know, you put your energy consumption for the country in a given month, your tariffs in a given month, And you can do this in a very seamless and recurring way. So you don't have to wait to the end of the year. Once you start building that environment, it becomes easier for you when the year is finished to start generating different things that you may want to see. You may want to see your profile over a given year. You may want to generate a report that speaks to your energy intensity. You may want to generate a report that speaks to your policy directions. One of the other things that we wanted to have is signposting. You know, you are looking for developers, or you may be looking for an energy service company. You might be looking for an energy manager. You might be looking for persons who write policies. And we want to ensure that the signposting can assist you in finding the right skill sets that is required to undertake the work that you are looking to do. A lot of you have been working through projects and navigating these projects. And as you have known, the CCREEE has launched the project preparation facility. And one of the areas that we want to help you with is for the Knowledge Hub to provide, through the learning management system and otherwise, that we can give you tools to support your project development. It might be a green finance toolkit. It might be a business plan writing. It might be resource assessment. How do I do a resource assessment within a particular region? And we want to provide you with that just by access to the Knowledge Hub. You may also consider your research for academics. You know, you always want to explore new ideas, always want to explore avenues to help with this revolution and this transition. And we want to encourage you through a very structured mechanism to post your publications that will give you a seamless interaction with other colleagues as it relates to the work that you're undertaking for the region. There's also the function of improving our energy access. So we want to kind of give you the opportunity to see opportunities where there might be projects to support energy access going into the future. So where you can look at countries like Haiti, in particular, Belize, Ghana, Suriname, we want to show you where those access points or lack of access points are and how you can build on those through the project preparation facility. So we want to give you visibility of those. And that is one of the things that we want the Energy Knowledge Hub to have. We want to give you tools to support feasibility studies. We want to give you tools to support finance and policy structuring. We want to give you tools to support your integrated energy plans and your integrated resource and resilience plans. We want to give you online support to support that energy transition and the ability for you to score yourself in relation to other countries. Dr. Gardner would have mentioned benchmark study for utilities, but we want you to benchmark your transportation sectors as well. We want you to benchmark other areas that utilize this energy for the betterment of your people to see if you are actually doing as best as you can and what are the gaps that you may have in making that transition work. So we want to operate within a docking station environment where you can dock and then deploy. We want to give you visibility, understanding of what is required of you to deliver the program and for you to connect as a region. No man stands alone, no man is an island. And I encourage you as a CARICOM member state to reach out, and that's what the community of practice is there for you to do, to connect with persons. And what this is allowing us to do is allowing our ecosystems to be connected. It connects energy to climate, to transportation. It does that at the national level. It does that at the regional level. And it can also do that at the global level. So I want to leave you with one thing. We operate on a 5P principle: people, policy, plan, projects, partnerships. Bear that in mind as you navigate creating a regional integration. And remember, no man stands alone. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Jackson, for those insights into what we may look forward to with the CEKH as we connect our ecosystems for the betterment of the people of the region. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've had a very informative introduction to the CARICOM Energy Knowledge Hub, We've seen the inception, the development, and future for this integral resource for the region. Thank you to our presenters, Mr. Simon Zellner, Dr. Devin Gardner, Mr. Galen Hare, and Dr. Gary Jackson for taking us through the development and showing us the vision for the Knowledge Hub. You have truly encouraged us to engage with our colleague practitioners in the energy space to play our part in making a resilient energy sector a reality. Thank you to the TAPSEC program and the AECID and all our international donors and partners who have contributed to the implementation of the CEKH and who continue to partner with us throughout the region. Thanks to the World Bank, REAP, and Monkey Mosaic, and in particular, Sigmund Klopner and James Smith, and the CARICOM Energy team, who led the stakeholder consultations to inform what has been produced today. Special thanks to our project developers, Abraxas International Incorporated, under the guidance of Mr. Joel Elaine, who have been diligent, patient, and committed to ensuring that the CEKH was built to industry standards with all the desired look, feel, and functionalities to serve the needs of the CARICOM region. Thanks to the CCREEE team, in particular Mr. Galen Hare and Ms. Penny Boyne, who have so ably supported the development of the Knowledge Hub and have worked behind the scenes today to ensure the smooth running of the launch this morning. Thank you, our participants, for joining us for today's launch of the CARICOM Energy Knowledge Hub. Continue to keep the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in your thoughts and do your part to help all those who have been displaced or otherwise affected by the continued eruption of the Le Soufriere volcano. And now I invite those of you who have not yet done so, because we have seen a few registrations coming in. If you haven't, visit cekh.ccreee.org. That's cekh.ccree.org and register to join the revolution. While you're there, please share your thoughts in the community of practice on what you are most looking forward to from the Hub and start a discussion of your own. As you join the CARICOM Energy Knowledge Hub community to do your part in advancing the sustainable energy revolution in the region, I leave you with this quote from Rosemary Juan Austin. Our knowledge shall not be bragged. Instead, it shall be shared. It shall inspire and uplift everybody's heart, mind, and soul. Have a wonderful rest of the day.